Hi everyone. Today I wanted to speak about 5 things about love to note down and to keep in mind because love is very confusing to the mind and we don't have the correct um, models of what is true love, what does it even mean to love someone, and we in society just have a lot of pain based ideas of love. So, I will give you 5 points that came to me. The first is that love does not mean to devour anybody or to possess anybody. This is not a moral teaching, but it is about if I really love someone, I would really want them to be happy and I would want them to have their freedom and their space and I would want them to be well. I don't want to devour them and feel like I'm so full of love for you that I'm going to eat you up. Like maybe sometimes we feel this kind of love for children, or we feel this for pets, or some people who are not, mentally aligned, they can feel this deep addiction for someone where you would have seen serial killers can operate on this logic of I love, so I must possess in this particular manner, and that I will have this thing physically to fulfill me. That is not what love is. Love gives freedom. Love is I love you. It means I want you to be happy, safe, and I want to respect whatever you want to do. And I'm so grateful that you are allowing me to be a part of your experience, of your journey. And I will do what I can because I love you. And this is just very natural for me, but I don't expect you to do something for me because I love you. That is love. It's like you love your child or you love your dog, but you don't want the dog to now take your burden and, think like, oh my God, now she loves me, so I must do something for her. You just love for no reason. You love, you know. That's what it's like. Or you love your child just like that. But unfortunately, many times when we are parents, many parents can do this, that they love and they expect a lot from the child. The child becomes an extension of their unfulfilled dreams, or the receiver of their worries or their social expectations. And the child is not allowed to have and discover their own path, especially in traditional backgrounds. The child is not allowed to fail, the child is not allowed to learn from their mistakes. So that's not love. Most of the times we have not received that love, and we may also not have given that love to children, and that's just like our personal, something to reflect on. The second thing is love does not mean to be devoured. Now, this is the opposite side of that, that I feel that I love this person. So, if this person wants to devour me, to be addicted to me, and to consume my life force, they want me to be there, they want me to do this. Or sometimes I've seen a lot of people be plagued with this idea that they are loved by a guy or a girl so badly that now they feel so obligated to this person, because many times it's a woman who feels very obligated to a man because the man has fallen in love with her. And she may not be feeling those feelings herself, but now she will maybe even marry him out of obligation, or be with him out of that. So that feeling that it is okay if you devour me, or it is okay if you, at the cost of my own inner sovereignty and my inner space, in the name of love, I allow my boundaries to be transgressed. I override my discomfort with the closeness that someone wants with me. And I blame myself for having some fear of intimacy, not trusting my own intuition. So many times this can happen in the family systems. A parent can be overly attached to you and you don't know how frustrated you are and how bad you're feeling and all of that, simply because what they are reflecting to you is that they say that they love you and hence you belong to them, and hence you have to take care of their emotions, you have to carry their emotional responsibility. So you end up getting very manipulated and you end up having a lot of guilt and a lot of anger. So you'll notice if you've had such a parent, or many people, they hate this. Like it's like reminding me of this common thing sometimes seen in India, that a son really ends up hating his mother because the mother is so obsessed with the son, and the son is just so angry with this obsession because this has become manipulative for the son. This has now created an obligation that, oh, I loved you so much, I did this for you. Now there's an unspoken obligation, it's not spoken. So the son feels controlled, and then they hate that I have to now be different for you, and you want me to do this. Otherwise, you'll get disappointed if I be this way. And that disappointment is going to bring in the guilt in me. And I hate that I feel guilty. I hate that I am manipulated. It's not the mother's fault, really. It can be regulated by the son himself if he becomes aware. The situations we are in are not the other people's faults. They are how we can respond to them. That is our responsibility. So the third thing is, love is also not a fantasy or a romance. We spend so much time in believing in the one for us, the one, I have met the one, the twin flame is my one, or something like that. No, that is a huge disservice we do to ourselves. We remain in this romantic fantasy, and we are the one. If you are seeking to complete yourself through an external person, and I get it, when we are young, we are very hormonal in our teen years, so we have these intense crushes, and there's a whole lust mixing up with love. And many times we have this desire to be wanted because we were not wanted like that by our parents, so we project it onto the partner, and we make it about our self-worth. We want to be rescued, we want to be saved, we want to be appreciated, to be seen, to be possessed. We want all of this simply because those types of things were not happening to us in our childhood, and they also may not have happened to us in many of our past lives. So it's a wound. And the world loves to sell you this fantasy idea through romantic movies, through rom-com TV shows. It has through novels in the past. Before the advent of movies, we had Jane Austen and others, and so we're constantly we're just sold this notion that we have to be this way. Love is like somewhere outside of me in a dreamy land. There is a man who's there, like the knight in the shining armor type. So that is a huge fallacy, huge mistake, because what you are actually seeking is to merge with your inner polarity. Suppose my dominant polarity is feminine. What I am seeking constantly all my life, what I may have sought in other men, would be my own inner masculine, to merge with that. That's why when you come on the journey, you notice, what, the guy I dated that time has very similar to my twin flame. This person that I ended up with is very similar, or my twin is with someone who's very similar to me, because we're seeking that completion of our inner polarity. The twin, of course, is a manifestation of that inner polarity, but you are actually not seeking the 3D twin flame. You're seeking the merger with your inner masculine, so you feel whole and balanced and complete. And how many times will you project it on to others? It can be a constant process, a lifelong process. For lifetimes it can be a process, so this is why they take sannyas. Sannyas is like they take this in the spiritual path, in conventional spiritual paths. Very serious people, they leave everything, they don't get married, they don't indulge in relationships because to the outer person it looks like a huge loss. It looks like horrible. It feels very bad. How can they're denying themselves something? But when it happens out of a certain maturity, an inner maturity, not an outer enforcement, an inner choice, it is now to know the inner polarity within them. They're not devoid of love. They know the inner polarity, right? So a fourth thing is that self-love is so important in the journey, in our lives, because self-love makes you worthy of even knowing the divine. Somehow knowing divinity and knowing your sense of self to be so powerful, your soul, the beauty of your soul, the worthiness of your soul, it goes hand in hand. Self-love is discouraged in society or it is given a very shallow meaning of selfishness, like I'm going to have this expensive stuff in my life, and that is self love. I treated myself to, the most expensive this or that, and that is self love. No, that's not self love. That is you just doing something to talk about with other people. You know, you won't even really be there with that most expensive thing fully, because it's not about the price tag, it's about following your heart in what you're buying. So, self love is to honor yourself, respect yourself, value yourself, see yourself with the eyes of love, to recognize your inner self, the beauty in you that by default is worthy without someone choosing you or not choosing you. If we wait to be chosen by others to have a modicum of self respect, so it's not about that. Okay. Self love is very deep. In my experience, it comes by working very deeply with our shadows that take us away from self love. A fifth point is love is not doing or receiving only. Doing love or receiving love. By doing love, I mean to say, like, loving somebody as a verb. If I say, I am loving this or I'm loving this person, right? The doing aspect, that is secondary. Receiving love also, that I got this love, or I feel, that I received this love. Love is actually a state of being. It's more of a noun. It's more of your presence. It's more your nature of your heart. So the act of love, whether receiving or giving, is secondary. It in fact flows from the being. The action flows from our state of being, not the other way around. The action does not serve the being. The being already is. The being is established. The being is the nature of our life. Like being, just simply being, is your nature of existence. The action that emerges from it is secondary. It can emerge from your state of being, then it's a divine action. But any kind of an action leading to the state of being is not really required, because the being just is. So giving love or receiving love can be very difficult, especially if you say you keep giving love, but your own cup is not full. Or you keep receiving love, but you don't know really how to still feel that love within you. Like many times you'll notice children can be very pampered, but they don't know love. They can be receiving a lot of love, but they don't have love to give to others necessarily. Or if someone is over giving, or if someone is self-sacrificing in the name of love, this is an act of love, this is that, they often get very angry later, or they feel they have high expectations. They want that, hey, I gave you this much. Why aren't you picking up my call now? Why aren't you there for me? I did so much for you, and why aren't you now my friend? Or I expect these things. These expectations will come with the acts of giving that are not coming from the state of being. So love as a quality is our being. There's nothing to do, there's nothing to show, there's nothing to receive as such. It's your quality of being. This is what you uncover. Okay. So these are just some 5 things. There'll be many others. So that I felt like sharing, breaking down these misconceptions of love. And with this, if you approach your journey, you will notice that you will not want to possess your twin flame. You will also not want to be possessed by them. Right? You will love your own freedom, and you would appreciate coming together, as as Khalil Gibran put it, as like 2 pillars of a building or of a temple that have to be apart for the temple structure to stay. It's like that, right? So the pillars, if they are together, joined together, then the whole thing collapses. That's not what love is. The third thing is, if you will indulge the fantasy, you're just using your twin flame as a coping mechanism, and that is not right. It's self-regulation is not the purpose of your journey, even if doing it in the 5D. And self-love literally delivers you to your union with yourself, and everything else follows. And love is your being state. So love is not about sacrificing. It's not about depleting yourself. It's not that at all. Okay. A balance with self-love is required in the act of love. The love that emerges from your being, once felt in the being, then it is a self-intelligent action that emerges from the beingness. I hope this is supportive. If you wish to work one on one with me, click on the first link. We go very deep in these sessions, we do some deep healing work. I can guide you on your journey, and you can see the session that I offer, and then you can email me to book it. You can subscribe to my Patreon, where recently I posted a video about connecting with your guides in a safe manner. And there's a guided meditation where the collective guides came through in a very, beautiful manner. You'll feel their presence. If you feel called to access that, that is tier one of my platform on Patreon. And there are many videos at tier one and tier two levels. You can also join as a free member to stay in touch with whatever I post there. Take care.